Welcome to the sixth of our presentations on the spiritual exercises and the book of The Ignatian Adventure by Kevin O'Brien. This is a guide to help pray with pages 162 to 175. And of course, as you know, I've been saying, be patient. There's no rush. One of the maxims for today is, what I get is about me. What I receive is in preparation for generosity. That my reception of something is a preparation to share it, which is very important. And getting is about establishing. It establishes me. And usually what I get, I need as a pretense, something to hide behind. If I receive it, I don't hide behind it. So that's part of the spiritual exercises as well. Just a little review of these past weeks from the fifth presentation. We were beginning to contemplate more and more the person of Jesus and the persons that surrounded him. The second maxim for today has something to do with this, and it is that the major conversions of our lives are a result of people whom we have allowed to meet us. You would say, well, the people you meet might not meet you, though. So meeting Jesus is allowing him to meet you wherever you are contemplating, meeting you in the stable in Bethlehem, meeting you in the desert in Egypt, meeting you in the hidden life. Where were you? Where was he? See, intimacy is a funny thing. Some people would say intimacy begins with my being intimate with me. That sounds good. But I think I am more intimate with myself if I have experienced intimacy outside, that the intimacy I have with somebody or someone's, those intimacy experiences help me unfrightenedly go inside. So yes, it starts with my being intimate with my truth, but intimacy helps me be more intimate with me. And because of intimacy, there are changes, conversions, which is really true in so many of the encounters that people had with Jesus. Jesus met them. You read in Luke 19, Jesus looked up at Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus climbed the tree to see Jesus, but it never says that he saw Jesus. Jesus looked up and saw Zacchaeus and says, I want to be intimate with you. I want to come and stay at your house. And of course, the religious leaders of the time said, you don't want to be with, he's a tax collector for the Romans. But he gets converted by the meeting. Encounter is first. And Jesus wants us to encounter his meeting us. And then there'll be changes. But to think that we have to change first is to be backwards. So we have prayed these weeks with Jesus in the hidden life, and I really stressed Jesus leaving home. And I hope you got the freedom and the joy and maybe the pain of really leaving what what were our past identities? Were they great ones or bad ones? Bad identities. When if we've made our home there, we have to leave them. So in praying with Jesus, leaving false images of ourselves, that's a big conversion, to leave home. And Jesus went, and you pray with it these weeks, that Jesus went to the Jordan and he heard who he was. It must have been a very intimate and intense encounter with the divinity of God. Because Jesus heard him, the Father, saying, in whatever version you pray with, "You are my beloved in whom I am well pleased." Listen to him. Jesus listened to that prayer the rest of his life. It was his identity. And he could listen to everyone else, the importunate, the poor, the demanding, the needy, the obstinate. He could listen to everyone because he had listened to who he was. It's when you don't know who you are that things can frighten you. So, as we said, listening is about being obedient, about to hear it and to live with it. What does God say to me in my prayer versus what I say in my prayer about me? And to which God do I listen? The accusing, the negative, the indicting one, or the comforting, calling one? Very important. As I say, to whom you listen, they're the ones you're going to hear. So these weeks we're walking along with Jesus to get to know him and to be changed by what we know. And not just to love him, but to allow ourselves to be loved by him. Loving God is letting God love us. That's a definition of loving God. And then the consequence is distribution. That Jesus heard who he was, accepted who he was, and went public. Went to his prophetic healing involving intimate side. Last week whenever you were praying last time, we were praying with actions flow from attitude. If Jesus asked a question, "Who am I?" he heard it and he believed it. That was the question. And that changed his attitude towards himself and towards everything else. And his actions flew from an attitude of gratitude. He lived gratefully. So, what I receive is different from what I get. And Jesus could listen to everyone and everything because they weren't threats. They were invitations to service, to generosity. As it has been said, Christianity is not a spectator sport. It asks me to come out of hiding, to come out of any negative voices that I might have heard, might have lived with. So who do you listen to? And our conversions will be watching Jesus, listening and caring for others. You will also pray, and there's a little section in O'Brien about discernment again. The ups and downs. Well, the only thing consistent about us, of course, is that we are inconsistent. As we say, there's many a slip between the cup and the lip. We can say one thing and we don't do it always. No. Fidelity has much to do with returning to our basic blessed and graced orientation. It's not legal, it's relational. And relationships are fragile and inconsistent. And spirituality is a lot of recovery back to who do I listen to? Who am I? It's that tension, it's that up and down. And, anything that we do that's good will be tempted by bad spirits. And we're going to get them. And as we say, if something is worth doing, it's worth being tempted about by the evil one. So we learn, as I said last time in the 5th presentation, we have to learn God's footsteps, and we have to learn, what does the evil spirit sound like? Noisy, negative, and putting me pretty often in park. Just stay right there. Don't do anything. You might be criticized. Yeah. It's not worth doing. You're going to lose your reputation. That's the evil one, keeping us from doing something good. But the major part of this week's presentation, and we're going to spend some time on this, is a major part of the exercise is called the 2 standards. And O'Brien has it very well laid out. It's a meditation about temptation and invitation. And they can both sound the same, and that's why discernment comes before considering the 2 standards. The standards, as O'Brien says, it's really a flag or a banner. Two camps, and Ignatian's military background would set it up that there's an evil camp who is after conquering the world, and as we saw last week in the Call of the King, Jesus wants to conquer the whole world with love and forgiveness. So let's look a little bit. I want to help you pray with the standard of the evil one. And O'Brien didn't touch on it, but I think you could go to the temptation of Adam. It goes back that far. It's ancient in us. He was deprived of one thing in the garden. He had everything. One thing. Why did he want that one thing? Because that consideration in Genesis, early Genesis, is really about envy. And we are so available to envy. We envy ourselves. We envy that we could be a better self. We ought to be a better self. We envy ourselves because we can be negative and resentful about our past. We should have been better. But we're just who we were. So the evil one says, whatever you have, a person like you really should have more. So you've got to get the latest or the shiniest, or the neatest, the most colorful. Why? Because it covers up your poverty. It covers up that which you don't have. You don't have it all together. You know what they say? Only the mediocre are always at their best. And the call of Jesus is for more and greater revelation of Him. The mediocre will say, no, this is okay. So the envy is a cover-up for inferiority, for poverty. I don't like it. I will pretend that I am who I am by the cars I have, the clothes I have, the family I have, the house, the ministry, the whatever. If I can point to it and say, I am because of that, you're living in pretense. You're living with envy. I'm living with envy. And you can hide behind things that falsify yourself. And the evil one loves it. celebrates that you're hiding, because to the degree to which you're hiding, you're getting, because it's all about you. You got a car. You got a deal. You got a wife. No, it's all about reception. It's all about gratitude. But envy says, whatever you have, it's not enough because it doesn't make you all that you want it to make you. It's all about greed. But it's an ingratitude. And we're available to that. Since Adam and all along the road till right now. And it's a great freedom to know that about which you are envy. It's a great freedom. You say, no, I don't want to face that. You know, we don't like to hear bad news. We don't. We like good news. Don't tell me anything bad. Like, I love athletics. And if I know my team is losing on the radio, I don't listen. I don't like bad news. If they're losing, no, don't tell me. If they're winning, well, they might lose. I'm envious. I'm even envious of our university teams because they'll make me look good. If they lose, I'll look bad. It's even that intrinsic to us. It's humorous, but it's devastating when you live that way. It's a cover-up. It's a pretense. And it will make me mediocre because I'll never be real. I'll only be supported by what's around me. And I have last year's? I have to get next year's. I have to get the year after it. Because that'll make me somebody. In my own eyes, this is all about me. I have to get it. But if I have to get it to be myself, I'll never receive myself. I'll always be hiding. No one will know me. There'll be no intimacy. And unfortunately, it will prevent my intimacy with Jesus because he's going to tell me the good news, which I will consider bad because he's saying, be more real. Let go of those things. Oh, no, I don't want to hear that. So we pray with that tension. That's where discernment is. What voices am I listening to? Who tells me? What tells me my identity? Do I get it? Or do I receive it? So we pray with that in O'Brien for a long time. I've been praying that for 60 years. I know it. I know it in me. It's there. It's alive and well. The second harangue that the evil one gives is another good one. It's about prestige. And if you can, if you like words, please look up the real root meaning of prestige. We would like to say we are at a prestigious university. If you look at the real meaning of that, you would not want to be at a real prestigious university. Prestige is, I have a title. I am the director. I am a priest. I am the director of this. I am the owner of that. I have a title. It's on the big front door. It's Gilbert and Sullivan. It's a shiny handle on the big front door. I can put my feet up on my desk. The buck stops here. And what's going on? Not only does my envy say, these things tell me who I am, now I'm asking you to affirm who I am. It's false, of course. You're giving me a title. But I'm more than a title. I'm more than a name. My identity is more intimate. It's more inside. Prestige, titles, it's a paint job. But paint is not very thick. Interiorly is my identity. And you can't give it to me. But I can search it out, hound for it. Ask everyone, am I still number one? Am I okay? And the evil one says, yes, keep asking. And what we say, of course, is what other people think of me is none of my business. What other people think is an addiction. What I think of myself is a prayer of gratitude. So, and we long for identity. Where do you get it? Because wherever you're getting it, you're hiding behind it. You think people know you because they know you as the director, president. We can see beyond each other's pretenses. But we pretend we don't see the pretense. That's really unloving. But it's business, it's relationship. But you see what's going on is it's about getting more and more independent from God. I will ask this to give me me. I will ask these people to give me me. And the more I do that, the less I have to go to the River Jordan and hear him say, "You are my beloved." The more I pray, the less I am attracted to having titles and things. The things are good. You get gifts. You receive them well, and the hands that receive them are the hands that distribute them. But the basic gift is the dependent relationship in which I receive myself gratefully. Well, that's the standard of the evil one. And we have to pray with that. I do, and you do. So don't move on to the standard of Jesus, which is very attractive. And we'll talk about it next time. But pray with each day that is offered by O'Brien. Spend time. Don't hurry, please, don't hurry. Then you're getting it. Don't get it. Receive it. From Tagore. By all means, they try to hold me secure, who love me in this world. But it is otherwise with thy love, which is greater than theirs. And thou keepest me free. Lest I forget them, they never venture to leave me alone. But day passes by after day, and thou art not seen. If I call not thee in my prayers, if I keep not thee in my heart, thy love for me